Welcome to Really Cool Stuff for the Home podcast, sponsored by HomeWorks. And now with today's show on all the ways to improve your home is your host, Denise Sanchez.
What makes the difference between a regular, refrigerator that you could buy any big discount house as opposed to like a BlueStar refrigerator? What makes them special?
Well, there's a lot of things that it's very hard for an average customer to even know the difference between. For example, one thing I always like to do with customers, especially at displays, is our bins on the doors. Mm-hmm. If you just remove them and hand them to the customer, they just feel that, and, oh my, this is a heavy duty piece of equipment. Mm-hmm. Where I don't have a refrigerator, but my refrigerator is your average plastic interior refrigerator. As you mentioned, it's all steel and glass interior. So especially now with cleanliness being very important, exactly. Molds, germs tend to adhere to plastics a lot more. Mm-hmm. Where stainless steel, glass, the nanotechnology of the glass, it's a lot easier to keep clean. It doesn't hold molds as much. Also, as well, we use dual compressors and dual evaporators, which I'm sure we'll get into. But that's very, very good for temperature control and purity of the air in each cavity, where most average refrigerators will just use one compressor and use all the same air from the refrigerator to the freezer for everywhere in between. Mm-hmm.
And also, too, people go, they're so much shallower than the typical 33-inch deep refrigerator. You know, when you have a built-in refrigerator like the BlueStar, it's 24 inches in depth, and they call that counter depth, so it doesn't stick out or protrude into your kitchen. It's a much more elegant installation. It looks better, and actually, it makes more sense because you're not having to dig inside of those cavities to get that jar of mustard that you never can find, right? Until it starts to smell. So you have a lot more cubic space because you have, not only do you usually go wider, but you go taller. In the hinges, they're incredibly heavy duty too. And I'm not just talking about the door hinges. Even the hinge, Nick, to get into the air filters or the compressors, tell them where the motors are located, because that's important as to why you get so much more cubic space on BlueStar's bottom mount.
Yes, well, everything is up. The top grate, you just lift it and everything's accessible right there. A lot of brands will put all that in the back of the cavity, which cuts out on the usable depth. We put everything up top, and as I've discussed before, I always talk about capacity. I always talk about usable capacity. Mm-hmm. Our engineers did a very, very good job of making all of the capacity usable and functional in this refrigerator, where you can fit the full-size sheet pans that fit inside our ranges. Our ovens will also fit on the glide-out rack. They'll fit in most bins. They'll fit in the freezer. So the usable capacity and the depth is really an advantage there because we put everything right up top. All you have to do is lift that top grill and you have access to everything there.
And that's why because you don't have a false wall behind, you actually get more depth, because you've got 22.4 cubic feet on their 36-inch bottom mount. And typically that's around 19 to 20 cubic feet into the other competitors, correct?
Correct.
And I love, like you said, you get those large capacity baking trays, the commercial ones that you can only get in restaurant supply houses. That goes, so you've got your preparation for hors d'oeuvres, whatever, and now you can just take them and pop them into the large oven capacity. So whether it's a range or the wall ovens, it goes right into that. So that makes, prep cooking a lot quicker. Also, too, when on the compressors, let's talk a little bit more about that, because people don't really get that, about how there's different compressors and condensers. Can you talk a little bit more about that one as well?
Sure. Well, as I mentioned, we have dual compressors, which the refrigerator has one and the freezer has one. We're not mixing the aromas and the temperatures. Each cavity has its own devoted compressor, which is very good, like I said, for accuracy. But also, you don't want fish that's in your refrigerator. You don't want that aroma and that smell to go down and mix with your ice cream in your freezer. Each cavity having its own compressor is very good for, like I said, keeping all of the air together, accurate, and with its own, and not mixing everything up, changing the temperatures as it goes throughout the whole unit.
And then also another neat thing too is, it looks like a heavy duty commercial restaurant refrigerator, but it's got a lot of high tech features in it. And one of the things I think is really kind of cool is the nanotechnology that's built into the glass shelves. So if you have a spill, it will pull together, keep the spill together to try to prevent it from going into the cavity itself, from overflowing on the shelves. That's pretty cool. And then, can you speak about the electronics as well?
Yes, as most of our products do, we stay away from a lot of electronics. You can't do it everywhere, but for example, there's refrigerators out there with TVs on the doors and things like that.
Oh, yes.
We have a very simple to use, easy LED touchscreen. It's very simple to cycle through and just make all your settings, make everything work perfectly for you. But with our ranges and our other products, we just have everything right up there. The compressors, the filter, so not much can go wrong. It's a very just heavy duty, well built refrigerator.
And then you have two different styles and you built in. You've got the single door with the bottom mount drawer, right? So you can do the hinge left or right, which is really nice. I prefer that over the French door style, which is very popular because the French door style looks so cool. And also, if you have a situation where the kitchen is really tight, you know, the island's in the way or whatever, and opening that big wide door is problematic, then the French door is a really good selection. But I don't know why, I've always preferred the single door. What do you think?
You get more use out of the bins. You get more bin space on the doors. You get the full door's worth of bin space instead of cutting it in half and taking fractions of what you have in the other one.
And then you've got that really nice LED lighting, which is beautiful. When you open it up, even some of the drawers are lit from underneath. That makes it beautiful. All the food looks beautiful. It's easy to see where everything is. I like that as well.
Yes, we call it dramatic ramp LED lighting. It is dramatic.
And this is American made, right?
Yes.
American made, American parts.
Yeah, and I always tell dealers always ask me who's making your fridge, because they just assume we're not making it. And I'll admit, when we first started doing it, I was nervous. We've made things hot since 1880.
Right.
Why do we think we can make things cold now? It was I was like, what are we doing? And but what we did, we made sure we hired engineers and designers that have been in the refrigeration industry for combined. They have decades and decades of experience amongst them. And they've designed and engineered a lot of the higher end refrigerators on the market. We basically gave them a very good offer to become full BlueStar employees. They started out making all of our first initial prototypes. And when we first got into production was in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. We rented out facilities there until we could get our lines in our factory up and ready and going. And everything moved into our factory in Blandon, Pennsylvania. So our refrigerators are all completely made by us in our factory. But like I said, we put it in the hands of experts, people that knew what they're doing. And we kind of told them what we wanted to accomplish. We told them we want all steel and glass interior. We want the full size usable capacity that fits the sheet trays. We want all the custom options that you can get on all the other BlueStar products, the 1,000 colors, the 10 different trim options. And they did a phenomenal job of getting everything done on that product. And like I said, we put it in the hands of people that know what they're doing instead of thinking that we could do it. So.
Right. And we've had really good luck with them. We love those fridges. It's so, I love showing the ranges, and then they may not even be talking about refrigeration. I'll ask them, so what are you doing for refrigeration? Oh, I really haven't given it much thought. Well, let me show you what they have available. And when they open it, seriously, when they open that fridge door, first of all, it feels solid. They open their fridge door, and it's that proud stainless steel that they have. You know, it sticks out a couple of inches, just like the range. And they see all that stainless steel and that glass. I mean, it's just like, duh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is absolutely gorgeous. And then they look at the capacity. And like you said, when you take the bins off, one of the first things that usually break on the bins, those little plastic hinges that you're always, working on, they snap right off. This will never happen with this one. I mean, it's just heavy stainless steel, hooks that go on there. And I love how...
It's funny.
Yeah, I love how.
Anytime you put that bin in somebody's hands, their hands
Oh,
always drop because they're
yes.
not used to how
Yeah.
heavy it's gonna.
It's just like putting their knobs, their metal
Yeah.
knobs in their hands. We'll talk about painted knobs or whatever, and then I'll put a knob in their hand, or I'll drop it onto the table, and you hear that clink, 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 clink,
Yeah.
They go, oh my gosh, that's real stainless. Yes, it is. It's
Yeah.
all heavy-duty stainless. And then those heavy-duty hinges. But what I also love is how you can take that fridge and make it a one of a kind. I don't know if you remember me talking about that pink built-in fridge that we did in someone's
Yes.
pantry. Oh my gosh, we'll have to make sure that we have a picture of that pantry. It's the prettiest pantry I've ever seen. But she took that BlueStar fridge and she did it in pink, and it was
Yeah.
stunning, 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 stunning. And then, we do a lot of them in black, and we do some in red. We even do, what we're doing a lot is stainless with just brass handles, and the brass badge. That just dresses up the kitchen a little bit. We're seeing that a lot, but 190 colors, basic colors, and then you have different textures, and you can do matte colors. I mean, you can do whatever you want on this thing. It's just incredible. It's a great piece.
Yeah, and one thing I'm always a lot of people it is our current refrigeration is not available in panel ready. You cannot have wood panels covering it so it blends in. Because our compressors, our evaporators are up top, you need to have that being able to breathe out that grill, so we can't cover that. But I always tell people you can paint it to match your cabinetry exactly.
Exactly.
And you have a one-of-a-kind showpiece where it's more of a grand piano in your fridge instead of hiding it in just a piece of wood.
Right.
So it makes much more of a statement, and you can still have it match your cabinetry perfectly. I will send you a picture that we can put up. I have our sales rep in the Chicago area. She did a nice green. Their cabinetry was like an army green with brass handles, and they did the refrigerator in they perfectly matched the green.
Oh my gosh, I bet that was gorgeous.
And it's stunning.
Yeah.
And if they would have just covered that up with wood, it would have been a
yeah, me too. Me
they
too.
did
Yeah.
this amazing showpiece for it.
Yeah, and when you have a BlueStar range, I think that you're kind of, even though the kitchen's very elegant, but it kind of has that industrial commercial feel. So that fridge really does blend well with the rest of the product, the scale of it. And they also have this freestanding fridge as well. So if the price point is not, in your finances, or you just don't want to pay that, they have a great freestanding fridge that's counter depth, and it's French door with the bottom mount drawer. It's 69.5 inches tall, 36 inches wide, 24 inches in depth, but it's beautiful stainless steel with beautiful handles that match all the other BlueStar products as well. So especially for the customer that's buying a 30-inch or 36-inch, trying to keep the budget down, it's a great piece for that. And I sell BlueStar fridges, the freestanding ones, to customers that aren't even buying a BlueStar kitchen. They just want a nice fridge. They come in and want a nice fridge, and it's a beautiful fridge.
Yeah. We basically came out with that because we do have our different levels of ranges. We have our RCS range is more of our entry level range.
Right.
So it's very rare to ever see a customer buy the RCS and our built-in fridge.
Right.
It's just a different customer.
Yeah.
So we brought in that we developed that fridge to really do a nice entry-level package. You can pair the RCS, a 30-inch RCS range with that freestanding fridge and a low-profile hood for between $8,000 and $9,000 and have a full BlueStar.
That is a great price point. I mean, just about anybody that's building a new home or remodeling can justify that when you look at the quality. Even if you're going to like the big box stores and you're spending $4,000 or $5,000 on something that's, not going to hold up in the years to come, not be spectacular as far as the type of results that you get, cooking wise or refrigeration wise, to spend a little bit more money and have something that is going to last a lot longer and be beautiful and be a better service to you makes a lot of sense. And made in the U.S. We like that too. Do you think that they'll ever come out with other columns or other footprints?
Yeah, we do have columns coming soon.
I thought so.
It's yeah. I don't like to talk about things till they're on the line.
Yeah.
UL approval is a
monster
fun experience. You can have some delays in that, and a lot of brands, you hear about things for years until you finally see it on a floor. But it is definitely, I've already seen the prototypes that's been developed. We are pretty far in through the process, but the columns are going to pretty much keep, from what I've seen, the same aesthetic of our built-in unit, stainless steel interior. We can have custom colors, things like that. So very excited for that because I get asked a lot if you have columns.
I would love to have, those interiors. It's just one more thing for the customer that just, in their mind, that's what they want, or they want a larger refrigerator. That would be nice to have. Now, the insulation, I understand that you all use super, super, super good insulation. And that insulation, you're able to make it thinner. So that's another way that you're able to capitalize on the larger footprint. The capacity on the same footprint. Is that correct? Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes.
Okay, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you have, I like the story that you have, or the example you have of adding so many cans of soda compared to other manufacturers. Can you speak to that?
Yes. Yeah, well, again, it kind of goes to, we always try to find ways to, as I always will hammer home, usable capacity. It's always neat to find a visual way to show that instead of just throwing out numbers. So the one really cool thing that we did was we loaded up our fridge with as many 12-ounce cans as we could. We didn't stack any. We didn't put one on top of the other. It's all in the racks, all in the bins, in the freezer. And we took the leading competitor and did the exact same thing. And we fit, I believe it was 155 more cans in the same exact size fridge.
That's a lot of cans.
It was a pretty eye-opening visual, yeah. So
That's amazing. I had no idea. I knew that there was something like that, a comparison out there. That's a lot of capacity. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So what can you add? Is there something that I'm missing by not asking you a certain question that you think my listeners would appreciate to know about the BlueStar fridge?
One thing I always do pitch when I'm talking about it, the ability to fit the sheet trays, and if you have a BlueStar range that fits the sheet trays. One thing I always will tell a customer is, if you're having a big event on Saturday, and you want to prep everything Friday, and just focus on having fun on Saturday, you can prep everything on your sheet pans and have them in that fridge. You have a refrigerator that will hold them. You don't have to, on Saturday, excuse yourself from your event, go put everything, re-prep everything, preheat all you have to do is preheat your oven, and you move it right over seamlessly from the fridge right into your oven and get back to entertaining at your event. So that's one of the biggest things. We discussed, we do have an ice maker in the freezer, a crescent shape ice maker. It has a rapid ice function. We went away, we did not choose to do a water dispenser.
And why do you think
Mainly because of that usable capacity.
That's interesting, yeah.
Yeah, because we kind of weighed our options. What do we want, a water dispenser, or do we want the largest usable capacity in the industry? And we decided we want to go with the usable capacity story to be able to fit as much possible and have all that functional room. So we went with the capacity and figured people can get bottled water. So
yeah, right. Well, and a lot of people, I think, that buy this type of fridge and the BlueStar kitchen, they're doing a lot of entertaining, right, and a lot of cooking. So this isn't the typical customer that I think that would never think about, staying home and cooking a meal for their family or entertaining their friends at their home. So that capacity becomes very important. And a large commercial baking tray, that's large. I mean, remember, you cannot buy these baking trays in any residential. You can't go to Macy's or Williams-Sonoma, places like that, to buy these. You have to go to a restaurant supply house. Inexpensive, like $12 a pan, but that just tells you that that's very, very unusual to have this type of capacity. Again, coming from the commercial side of the business. So, on the color options, what are you seeing as being a popular color for the fridges? Is a typical?
I am seeing a lot of matte black. Matte black and brass has been very big, and it's especially, like you said, a lot of people will. It's a very gutsy decision to paint your fridge. So a lot of people are doing stainless steel with a brass or copper handle. But if they're doing color, a lot of them, matte black is a very, very sleek, safe look, though. The neat thing I found also, I tell people with any of our matte finishes, matte picks up fingerprints, grease from your fingers. So a very easy cleanup is foaming dish soap because it cuts grease. You just get foaming dish soap, rub it on, and it dries perfectly clean. So that's a neat little tip for cleaning our matte black is foaming dish soap.
Right.
But out of the colors, I'm seeing a lot of matte black right now.
We are too, and like I said,
whites as well.
Yeah, but black is definitely king right now, and we do colors,
Yes.
And we're seeing a lot of brass being added on the trim just to bring a little bit more, high-end luxury to it. They also have a great warranty. And we, as a servicing dealer, take care of the warranty. But you speak about the warranty, how good the warranty is on this refrigerator.
Well, it is basically a 3-level warranty. I believe it's 3, 5, and 13 years. And different things are covered. Pretty much everything's covered in the first 3 years. So we are pretty confident in that we've made such a heavy-duty, sturdy thing that we can hold a warranty for 3 years with this. And then you get the compressor system, sealed and semi-sealed, which is compressors and other things are for 5 and then 13 years for the warranty.
That's an excellent warranty. Excellent. And then these are built to order. So it's something that does take a little bit of time. So if you're thinking about getting one before Christmas, you better get your orders in quickly because it's taken right now with COVID. About how long do you think?
6 to 7 weeks right now.
Yeah.
Because we do so much custom. So many of them are not just your cookie cutter stainless steel. We have so much wood paint or brass trim, so they are made to order. And right now, and that's where we are not operating at full capacity. The state of Pennsylvania had put some guidelines, but we are moving pretty quickly. So you can still get a custom one-of-a-kind fridge in 6 weeks. So that still is pretty well.
Yeah, I understand.
Freestanding fridge is in stock.
Yeah, it is in stock now. Okay, awesome. Okay.
Yes, so especially right now, it's tough to get a lot of refrigeration.
Oh my goodness, they're gone. There's none to be had.
So a lot of manufacturers have a lot of problems sourcing their parts and getting them from all over the world. We planned very well for this, so we made sure we stocked up. We have, like I said, our freestanding fridges are in stock. We have a lot of those. And a custom built-in fridge will be 6 to 7 weeks.
That's not too bad when you figure a custom-made piece of equipment and then being able to have it painted or plated. That's excellent. Even the top grill can be painted if you want it. So you can just leave it chrome if you want, or you can paint it the same color as the rest of the fridge to give you a real custom look. So on the freestanding bottom mount, do you see that a lot of people are buying them right now because of COVID that aren't using them for BlueStar kitchens? They just want to have a fridge right now. That's what we're seeing. A lot of people are trying to source refrigeration. Yeah. It's really crazy out there, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, you don't want to be the benefit of other people's hard times, but yeah, people are having a very hard time finding refrigeration right now. So it's definitely like I said, we planned it very well, and we are. It's a lot of dealers are just amazed when I tell them we have it in stock.
I know exactly. I know.
Very hard to come by.
Yes, I know. Yeah. Yes. So on your dealers or your servicing dealers, are there anything typical that they find is problematic with these machines or the fridges, or because we just don't touch these? We've had such great luck with them.
Yeah, the service rates stayed very low. One thing I saw in the beginning was a water line that filled the ice machine and shipping fell, so it filled the freezer up, and we completely cleaned it up. We made sure we saw that, reacted to it, and put a bracket to hold that up so that doesn't happen again. But we were very... A bad refrigerator can bury an entire product line.
Oh, yeah. There's a couple out there that know about that. A couple of competitors, yes.
We made sure we put these in test homes for many years. I saw this refrigerator for years and couldn't tell anybody about it. Because we wanted to make sure we very thoroughly planned and prepared before we launched it. We put them in homes in California, New York, Florida, and had people use them thoroughly for, I believe, 2 to 3 years before we even launched it, because we wanted to make sure there were no surprises. And again, we didn't want to have a faulty product embarrass the entire brand.
Right.
So we were very confident in how much work we put into it and how much planning we put into it and how many years of testing before we launched it. And I think that shows why your team is finding there's just very low services.
And I love the fact that I can pick the phone up and I can talk to anybody at the BlueStar Technical. They're very, very easy to get a hold of. They're responsive. They know their product line. And also, too, I understand if there is a problem, we can actually do a dump on the computer, and we can email it to you guys if there's an issue with it. That's kind of cool. Yeah. So they can find out if there's any issues. So how does that work?
It's funny. It's funny that kind of there's times where a customer will say, like, there's frost in my fridge. There's a problem in my refrigerator. And it's just a USB port that's right up there. And you can look up the entire history of it. And a lot of times that comes back to kind of kick the customer in the butt, because we say the door was left open from 1:30 a.m.
We had one like that
on the 29th. And so my kids. Okay, there you go. You don't have a service issue. So it's really helpful for that, because we don't have to automatically jump and send parts and waste everybody's time. We can just see, like, hey, you left the door open on this time. You try not to do that again.
And there's no guessing as to what the problem is. That's what's nice too. We actually had that happen one time, and it was the kids. They had left the bottom drawer open, is what the problem was. And then everything defrosted, there was an issue. Why did it do that? Because someone probably closed the drawer when they saw it, and didn't want to let anyone else know. And then we found that out. And after that, no problems. That can happen in any house.
It's funny being in the industry how I automatically now know if my fridge, if my fridge ever has frost in it, I automatically yell at my kids, which one of you left the door open?
Right. That can happen.
Which one of you did this?
Especially in a busy household with youngins. They're slamming the door. They're on their way after they grab their ice cream or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, Nick, as usual, you've been so informative, and I'm going to ask you to come back one more time to talk about ovens and kind of do a wrap up about the BlueStar. This is such an important line. I just didn't want to just do a 30-minute, podcast about your line. It's so important to us, and it's such a unique line. And the background where it comes from is so different, with the commercial background. But thanks again. And will you come back next week?
It'll be my pleasure. I'm happy to do it.
One more time, and I'll.
No problem. I'm happy to.
Okay. Thank you so much, Nick. I really appreciate everything and all the information you've given. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.